Good morning, Roadrunner Nation. Thank you. Well, I was nervous this morning. How many people get nervous when you go to your class the first day? They say it's a good sign, so hopefully that's right. But for reassurance, right before I walked over here, I had to pull something up and look at it. I'll just read it to you. It said, a very busy day with new starts and major decisions. Be honest, assertive, innovative, and courageous. Forge ahead and take the lead and aim for the top. We'll see if we can do that. I want to welcome everyone as we begin an exciting new year. This semester is a special day, and I want to express my appreciation for you being here today. We've got some new faculty that have joined us. It's the first time that they've come to College of the Desert, and they're joining our community, so I want to welcome them and hope that they have as positive an experience as they can, and that this institution exceeds their expectations. I'd also like to express appreciation to Dr. Lisa Socio and our Flex Committee for planning the Flex activities this year. And I would also like to acknowledge several individuals. We've got some Board of Trustees here. Trustee Michael O'Neill. Trustee Mary Jane Sanchez. And I'm not sure if they're here, but I'm going to go ahead and mention Trustee Becky Broughton. Trustee Bonnie Stephan. Trustee Aurora Wilson. And our student trustee, Eleanor Campbell. Also from our college constituency groups, Denise Diamond, President of the Faculty Association. And I didn't notice whether David Bayshore was here with CODA. There he is over there. And then Douglas Redmond is unable to be with us today, but mentioned him and his role as acting Senate President. And our President of CSEA Local, Laura Jimenez. Today we embark on a new semester that makes today a very special and important time, especially for the students that will be joining us in just a few days. What will they experience when they arrive? What would you like your child, spouse, partner, parent, or friend to experience? Last spring the board adopted goals and objectives, and tied to these goals and objectives and tied to them were my goals and objectives for the next 24 months. And if I can make sure I can use this thing. I want to look at that for a minute before we go on. It's like when I go out there and stand and look that way, am I facing the right direction? That way? I mean, come on. That's magic. That's a beautiful place. And, it's like when I drive down, coming into the campus, right into the heart of the campus, and you see the fountain. I mean, it really is magical. And, thinking about just our students, they get off on the bus here, and they park over there, and they walk into the heart of this place with all their dreams and everything. And that's what they're going to be walking into in just a few short days, coming into your classes and interacting with all of us. So hopefully they're going to have a wonderful experience. I know that that's our intent. And with that, I want to talk a little bit about that experience. My 24-month agenda really is 5 points. There's a lot of stuff in those 5 points. Some of it's been baked, some of it's still probably being mixed. But it's in the areas of student success, planning and governance, fiscal stability and infrastructure. I had a Monster drinks. I'm probably going to talk quite faster than I can. And that's after that 2 or 3 Diet Cokes. So economic workforce and 2 pastries. Economic workforce development, community outreach, teamwork, organizational development. So student success, what is it? First is what we as community college educators have spent our careers focusing on, our students. However, a bill was passed in California in 2013. The bill is AB 1456, and it requires us to focus our efforts to improve the outcomes of matriculation services. The bill, in essence, requires us to target our efforts to assess, orient, and provide educational planning for students. And these efforts will drive our future funding. So what does that mean to all of us? It means to me that before Big Brother gets back in my playground, that I want to frame what is best for the students that we serve. I don't want them framing it. I don't want to see another assembly bill pass. The only way that's going to happen is through your involvement. What we've done to date, in February 2014, several student success task forces were formed, and they've developed some recommendations. The task forces were pre-collegiate experience, basic skills, first-year task force for up to 30 units, second-year task force for students in the 30 to 60 unit range, professional development task force, and an equity task force. In addition, there's a task force dealing with innovation and one dealing with assessment. So I'd like the members of task forces to stand and be recognized if they're here. Please, don't be shy. And I know there's more than that, but we'll do that alone. These teams were co-chaired between a faculty member and administrator, and over the summer, Dr. David George collected and summarized the initial task force recommendations. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. So much work has been done. However, we will be broadening the dialogue this semester to hone our focus on our students. Some ideas on how we can get some of this realized is through additional faculty leadership positions. Some being discussed include coordinators in the following areas: Faculty Innovation Center, campus-wide innovation, student employment and ambassador program, student equity planning, student success and basic skills, honors program viability study, educational master planning co-chair, or Tanya, enrollment management team leader, and faculty accreditation coordinator. Actually, that one's over, I think. So we really want to brainstorm around trying to find faculty coordinators that can really hone in on our students' experience. From before they get to us until they leave us, whether that's going into the workforce or whether that's transferring. And so, you know, as that slide where we were walking into this campus, we really want to reach out before they start walking in and seeing what we can do to help them be better prepared and not have as much remediation and other types of things when they get here. And I don't know what those things are. You know, thank goodness we've got these task forces and we've got all of you to help identify what those activities are. It's not going to be something that we figure out overnight, because we've been working on it for decades before this assembly bill was passed. And so really what we're about is acknowledging that there's more work to do and understanding that our funding is going to be tied to this work. And so let's target those funds and let's go out and see what we can do with them and see how effective we can be. And the problem with community colleges, our mission is we're all things to all people. You know, anything that comes along. And so with this Student Success Initiative, I think that it will allow us and empower us to really hone in on some of the basics and some of the things that we know as educators are gaps and lacking. And as we talk with our colleagues at our institutions that will be our students will be transferring to, they may have some insights, and we're going to have some insights for them as well. And when we talk to our educators in the K-12, they're going to have insights. And as we talk to the communities we serve, I mean, we go over to East Valley and we really listen to those communities, and we go our far west county, or west end district. There's unique populations, unique communities with very, very unique needs. So as we're looking at our student success plan, it may not be comprehensive, it may not be the same thing for all of Coachella Valley. I mean, there's some really uniqueness depending on where those students are coming from. So it'll be an engaging dialogue, and if I keep on talking about this, we're going to be here through lunch. And so let's go on to resource allocation. So last year we worked hard to follow our planning process. Faculty members in each school utilized program review update information to prioritize new faculty. A comprehensive list of 14 total positions was created and then analyzed by the faculty hiring prioritization task force. Two people that were involved with that task force leading it up was Don Burrs, who was interim executive vice president, and Douglas Redmond, academic senate president. The task force consisted of deans and the division chairs. Many hours were spent on this critical project. Always the meetings were collegial, and student learning remained central to the discussion. So I want to thank all of you that were devoted to that process. The full list was reviewed. We looked at research data from the Office of Institutional Research, and we have new faculty. We have 7 tenure-track faculty, 3 full-time temporary faculty. Scott Ventura, Fire Tech. Sarah Butler, Political Science. You guys should stand if you're here. Okay. Courtney Bassett. Courtney is kinesiology. Reed Sagara, English. Emily Madigan, art. Dorothy Anderson, auto tech. And Anna Stockwell, counselor in nursing. Our full-time temporary hires include Chamindu Hatiku, I got that right. Tula Moran, coordinator and counselor. And I should say, I didn't mention Chamindu is here for chemistry, so it's going to be serving a very, very critical pathway. Raquel Schoenfeld, coordinator and counselor for CalWorks. 2 new faces in the office of the executive vice president. Mary Luz Marujo and Jeff Larson. And then most of you probably know that Leanne is doing 2 jobs right now. She's working for me and the board, and also for the Department of HR. So she's going to at some point get to only 1 job, and she wants the job in HR. I don't know what that's about. She's kind of giving me a song and dance, but I'm not sure I'm dancing to it yet. But I don't dance. But I will say that we're pleased that she's got this opportunity. There's going to be a new person coming on board that we will be serving that capacity on September 15th. And her name is Angela Walton. So, filling in the gaps. We also made strategic hires. Stan Henry, our interim director for security and emergency preparedness. And those of you that are here, please stand when I call your name. That's my friend. He looks like somebody's in security. Look how tall he is. You're taller than me. I mean, wow. All right, so Sherry Jones, Interim Dean Communications. Sherry. Kurt Luttrell, Director, Admissions and Records. Amanda Phillips, Director of Counseling. Scott Cooper, Director of Educational Centers, has been appointed to temporarily, underline, supervise TRIO, Student Life and Health Services, Mini-Core, EOPS, Care, and the Behavioral Assessment and Intervention Team. So, is Scott here? He better not be because he's too mean. That's good. That's good. It's like, you know. And I didn't get permission for this, so I'm going to have to beg for forgiveness. And I was kind of disappointed in myself this morning when I was getting around because I was like, I don't have any pictures up here of me running around with the donkeys or the jackasses in Kansas. And I don't have any pictures of me up here sorting through the night crawlers and counting them for the fishermen that were coming in to buy the night crawlers that I had last year. So I guess I didn't have an opportunity to go visit my in-laws and put the work right where this event. So I missed those. So I apologize for that. But I do have a gap in the institution I'd like to talk to you a little bit about. So Stan the man doesn't know that his picture from the hospital was up there. They made a mistake of texting me recently, but I did want to spend some time talking about Stan. If you haven't seen the email, Stan, our Executive Director of Human Resource and Labor Relations, is out of office due to a serious medical condition. He has had surgery and he has been recovering. He is scheduled to go home tomorrow. He will continue treatment for the next few months. He and his wife, Rhonda, are so appreciative of all the love and support they've received these past weeks. And we will be appointing an acting executive director of HR in the near future until he fully recovers and comes back to work with us. So resource allocation. Utilizing the PRUs and planning process, we were able to identify funding for nearly 90% of the non-personnel needs that were submitted this past year. In addition, funding was identified to fund a significant number of classified positions that directly support program, faculty, and students. Lastly, this fall will provide an opportunity for new faculty prioritization, and we need new faculty. When we talk about student success, it is essential that we have sufficient faculty. There are some discipline areas that the majority of our students need, and we may only have one or two full-time faculty in those areas. We are going to do better by our students, and we're going to really look at where we have those gaps and together identify those and recruit and hire some more faculty. I'm going to go into later what the projections are for growth for College of the Desert, and we've got to try to get ahead of the game. We've touched on planning and governance. I express much appreciation to the College Planning Council's effectiveness, and if you're on the College Planning Council, I'd like you to stand and be recognized. And there's a lot of people on the College Planning Council. So now I get into these slides that you really don't. I always hate these because it's supposed to be, yay, we're starting and all this, and now we're going to talk about a bunch of data and jargon and crap. So I'm going to try to cut through it a little bit. With enrollment management, we've got an opportunity. During the fall and spring terms, the deans working with department chairs, working with institutional research, working with our new executive vice president and others, they were able to make sure we hit our FTES target in the primary terms. Now, the great thing about that is the summer term, now we get to use either for last year or for the upcoming year. So in the state of California right now, all up and down the state, enrollments are declining. And in the state budget, they had planned to fund more growth than is occurring statewide. So we've been growing, and we've got, in the summer we got 450 or so FTES. I'm not sure the exact number. 454? 474. I knew, gosh. Okay, 474. I was close. We have an opportunity that we can shift that enrollment back to the last fiscal year and capture money. Increases our base. A couple of challenges is you got to decide how much you want to transfer back, which I'm going to push aggressively for all of it, because the higher we get our base, the more money we have. And then when we look at the growth that they're offering us for this next year, it's based on this higher base. So we take advantage of that. And as you see, if we just shifted 200 FTES, it's nearly $1 million. You shift 400, $2 million. So we really want to be strategic about our enrollment management. And now, what's the risk? Let's see. Well, before we go to the risk, let's talk about a couple other things. So the one thing is our Indio campus. Kudos for everybody involved. It's like we could have probably had twice the size of the facility. I mean, we open the doors and it's like the place is full almost. And so now we're already adding another classroom on the first floor to deal with the capacity issues. But as we're looking at that, if we focus some of this growth on that campus and we get to 1,000 FTES, we can qualify for what's called center status. And with center status, it also brings an additional $1 million for us to use in our operating budget. So again, positive things, I'm going to get some negative things in a little while, but we'll save those for the end so I can run. Here's just an overview of what's going on in Sacramento. And the positive thing is, most of these, all of these here are increases. And so that'll come to us in varied ways. You see the $70 million there for student equity plans, $100 million for student success and support. So that's that tie-in I was talking about when we're working on our student success initiative. So, again, I already mentioned enrollment. We need to really be strategic. And we've got some areas where some concerns, some of our sales tax ending in 2016, income tax ending in 2018, not for you or I. Concerns related to STRS increases and those continuing. And then continued exposure for property taxes and fees, shortfalls. So let's talk about this presentation. I got this from Lisa Howe, and she's more conservative, so she put smaller numbers on here than I'm saying when I'm up here. So the challenge that we would face by putting our enrollment back in the last year is then we have to grow all that enrollment. We have 2 years to recoup 474 FTES, which we can do that. Now what happens if Joel's wrong? Well, you get to keep the money for those 2 years, and then they just reset you based on where you're at in 2 years. And so really the risk is you get this money for short term and it doesn't turn into ongoing money. We think we can grow the 474. We think that we can grow, the state's looking at 2% growth. We think that we can grow an additional 6% on top of that. And again, to do that, it's going to take all of us. It's going to take new personnel. It's going to take really smart scheduling. It's going to take us putting the right classes out there. Because next year, we're forecasting that State of California and other districts are going to continue to see declining enrollments. And so, what the Chancellor's office hates to do is they go to the legislature and they say, we need X amount of money for education, and that they get that allocation and get bills through. And then they hate to then go back and say, well, we got all this money, we got to get it back to you. And so, in essence, what they'll do is they'll put a call out to the colleges that went above their growth rates and say, if you shift your enrollment, we'll pay you for it so that we don't have to give it back to the state. So, it's a really a strategic thing that we need to stay on top of. The foundation, hurrah, foundation. Can anybody sing? I'm excited about the foundation. We have got the best foundation in the state of California, in my opinion. And it's, I've got to back up because when I was acknowledging folks that were doing the scheduling and doing all that, and we met our targets, I failed to recognize that this fall we're going to experience one of our largest growths that we've ever experienced with our student population. Our counseling department, our department, and every person that's touched those students that have been enrolling should be applauded. They have been working their tails off. Apologize for the oversight. Wow. Okay, the foundation, and I can't remember what month we started talking about it. What it was, November, December, or January, I don't know. November, December. Yeah, we were sitting around the room in November and December, and then somebody said, well, let's try to raise $3 million in the month of March. $3 million in 30 days. That sounds a little crazy. And we thought, well, if we put together a campaign that was tied to educational programs, scholarships, technology, student services, and those types of things, that we were going to try it. They didn't raise $3 million. The campaign raised nearly $6 million. $6 million from the community. Jan Hawkins and Peter Sturgeon are there. There's one, there's two. Stand up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Is Jim here? All right, Jim. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank them and the board that worked on the 3030 campaign. Additionally, I'd like to thank Douglas Redmond and Lisa Howe for chairing the internal campaign. And congratulations to Fiscal Services for achieving 100%. Now, the funding is being spent over a period of years. The first year is in excess of $1.7 million. Donors include individuals, family foundations, and corporations. And we are really blessed to live in a community like this that is so generous and so supportive of education. Some of the exciting initiatives that were funded include a COD Student Ambassador Program, a Faculty Innovation Center. We had a donor that donated in excess of approaching $400,000 for a Faculty Innovation Center. College-wide innovation funds. Funding to support the Student Success Agenda. So I've talked to many of you about different things. We know things that work for different populations. And I visited with faculty members and said, well, I'd like to just Not as a counselor, I just like to go into the classrooms in the K-12 and say, you're in the 10th grade. I'm going to pick on you. And these are the things you need to be ready for. And these are the things that are out there to help you. And hopefully, I'm maybe able to overcome some of the barriers that you've overcome. But for us to really start early on. So people have expressed an interest in doing those types of things and having the time to do those types of things. And so when we're talking about these coordinators, faculty leaders, hopefully it'll be in some areas where we really, really know that we're going to touch some people and we're going to change the trajectory that they're on. It may be, I couldn't believe this, I still can't believe it. So if I offend anybody, it's not intentional, but I might. When I heard there used to be a Puente program here. And so, I was up at Scholas Positas, and Puente started there, and then we had a Moja project and some others. And so there was a Puente program here with such a large percent of our students being Hispanic. So here we are in HSI, and the Puente program is not here, it's gone. And I've been trying to figure it out. I've gotten stories, and I'm not going to, I'm sure those stories, they seem consistent, but I'm not really able to validate who, when, where, what, etc. But you have ideas, and you know of programs, and you know of things that are scalable, whether they're summer bridge programs, whether they're winter bridge programs, whatever they are, that now that we have these resources, that the foundation has been so generous, that let's use them. Let's use them in a really, really productive way. And I guarantee you that the foundation, when they see us using those and making a difference, they're going to continue to get additional resources for us. So it's an exciting time, but it's a tiring time. It's amazing what we've been able to accomplish to date. But we continue to strengthen our programs, and as you've noticed, our recent additions to full-time faculty include automotive, kinesiology, fire tech, nursing, HVAC, and energy systems. So when we're looking at workforce development, it's an area in this community that is very important. In addition, we're working and having discussions with there's discussions that have been underway for over a year regarding a mechanism to fund pathway programs. Pathways from our K-12 academies through COD, signature programs, and I'll give an example, culinary arts, maybe an example, resulting in local employment or transfer. These discussions include identification of workforce projections and resource requirements. If successful, it is very preliminary. This would be a source of funds that we could possibly have for endowed faculty positions. So we're going to continue to have those conversations and see if they can come to fruition and they can get to the point where we can have a more robust conversation about it. West Valley. We had an announcement last year. We're moving from the windier side, and we're looking at a site that is more centrally located next to the high school and also on the major bus routes. And there's a litany of other positives. But the current status is we are currently working on an environmental impact study, and it's being conducted, and we will continue that process. There is discussion, though, of since there's a lot of time that this takes, that regardless of that site, we want to increase our presence in that community. And so as we're growing, we're going to be looking at opportunities to increase that presence so that the community doesn't, we put this out there and we need them to see that we're committed and we're really moving in that direction. And so, again, the West Valley campus is on course. Indio campus update. Finished our first full academic year. Students can complete all general education sections for transfer to Cal State University system at the campus. And there's 4 majors they can get without leaving NDO. AA in liberal arts, arts, humanities, and communication, AA in psychology, AS in business administration, AS in early childhood education. Megathermal. Megathermal serves an average of 500 students every semester. We're offering more sections there, especially in the areas of English, reading, art, fire tech, math, health psychology, history, speech, and HA, Administration of Justice. Counseling, tutoring, and computer labs are all available on site, and now the Sunline bus service is going there 5 days per week. New faculty orientation and ongoing support. The last 2 days have been spent with the new faculty, Executive Vice President Davies, division chairs, and others providing operational information. Throughout the first year, there will be meetings regularly to provide them guidance, mentorship, and support. So what we're looking at is really we're saying let's invest in their future. As I met many of them, I'm much more seasoned than they are. That means I'm older. And I know they're probably going to be here 30 or 40 years. And so the more we can invest in their future, the more that they're going to be really impacting our students in the community. So here they are again. And there they are again. What have we done? What have we unleashed? I'm not sure. So, let's look at the top of that again. Teamwork, organizational development. On the next one, I tried to cut out Anna's, I can't tell from this angle, her glass of wine, but I think it shows up. Yeah, I'll say that. We're getting close to the end. So, on August 15th, at the Academic Senate Executive Committee retreat, I shared some of the summer communications, I call summer communications, I received or been copied on. And I'm not going to go into the specifics today, but many of them were prejudiced, hateful, and frankly, very disturbing. So as we're talking about teamwork and organizational development, I just want to remind all of us that we are how we treat each other, nothing else. I mean, when it all boils down, that's what it is. And we're all moving through this thing called life, trying to figure it out, trying to figure it out for our families, trying to figure it out for ourselves, trying to help our students figure it out. And so at the end of the day, when we're trying to figure it out, I hope that we can come back to this. And I know sometimes we're going to stray from it, but hopefully we can rise above and come back to it again. Oops. That's fine. So, I just want to say, we can make a difference in the life of a student. We can make positive changes in how we work together. We can actively support student success, which in turn promotes success in our community. We can model the behavior that you want to see in your students and your colleagues. We can participate in the leadership of this institution. Every one of us can participate in the leadership of this institution. it's incumbent on every one of us to participate. We can care about each other and about what we do. We can be the community college that others want to emulate. We're going to scroll through the girls for a minute. Some of you got to meet them recently. And I want to move to this, whoever's in charge. Thank you. I wouldn't.
To be humble, to be kind, it is a giving of peace in your mind. To a stranger, to a friend, to give in such a way it has no end. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other, nothing more. To be bold, to be brave, it is a thinking that the heart can still be safe, and the darkness can come quick. Dangers in the anger and the hanging on to it. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other, nothing more. Tell me what it is that you see. A world that's full of endless possibility. And heroes don't look like they used to. They look like you do. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other, nothing more. We are how we treat each other, nothing more. We are how we treat each other.
So, we got big jobs ahead of us. You know what? And it's going to be we're going to get it done. And I'm so excited that on Monday we're going to have a lot of students coming to us. Did I say Sunday? Monday? I had this crazy thing happen this week. It's like I'm still fighting with the chancellor's office or somebody in Sacramento. And it's like, trust me, sent me a nice little email because I just got on a plane and I flew up there. And I went and sat in the lobby. And I was emailing the chancellor, when I was in Phoenix and said, I'm coming. And so I sat there, and finally, it was like they called him, and he came in from someplace, and he walked in into the main office, and he said, all right, come on. And so I went back to his office, and we talked. I don't think they wanted me to stay there, for sitting out there being so obvious. And I was laughing to myself because I think this last year we were fortunate enough that some of our students got to go over and meet Justice Kennedy. So I got to go over with them too, because as the Board of Governors president was going there also. And so the Board of Governors, the President of the Board of Governors, and myself and Justice Kennedy got this picture taken. And so there's two pictures in the Chancellor's lobby, and I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, they don't like me right now. And I look up, and it's got the governor and somebody, and it's got me, Justice Kennedy, and I said to myself, they're going to take that picture down really soon. But I did take a picture of it. So, and that was my Tuesday, I think. Tuesday. So, my data kind of running together a little bit, and since I brought that up, we're continuing to work with the Chancellor's office, and hopefully it won't go down a path that's not necessary. And Bayshore sent me an email that says you said too many times, aren't you? You work county today? Okay. He critiques me every time. So the reality is we are still working through that. The board has been very supportive and very directive to me on working with the Chancellor's office to make sure that we safeguard RFTES. Again, the positive thing is we've got all this growth potential. And so regardless of how those conversations proceed, I still feel like that with the growth potential and the other resources that are coming to us, that we're probably in one of the best spots in any college in the state of California. We're just really uniquely positioned. So I'll stop there. I think that it's 5 minutes to lunch. So most of you aren't bashful about coming up to me and asking me questions. And so you are coming by the office, so you may have questions. I know we usually do 15 minutes Q&A, so you may have questions, and you can chase me down. Or what I would like to do now is release people to go stand in line for lunch, and then if somebody really has a heart-burning question, and they don't mind being at the end of the line, then I'll stay here and talk to you. Okay, so have a wonderful, wonderful semester, and thank you.